Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is September 2nd. The final month of the baseball season is here, and the Cubs have chosen the right time to get hot. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today? The start of a new week, the start of a new month. We are in September, the final month of the baseball regular season. We're coming down to it, and over the next couple of weeks we'll see a lot of teams get eliminated from postseason contention, but we'll also start seeing some teams clinching those spots. I'd say, give or take a week or two is when we'll have our first team clinching or so. And, joining the White Sox in the elimination will be the Marlins and Rockies, and that will most likely happen either today or tomorrow. But yeah, with that all being said, we got a lot to do here today. Of course, September baseball means a lot of postseason talk, a lot of tiebreakers talk. I got some tiebreakers that I want to go over as well in this episode, so it's going to be a good one. Thanks for clicking on into the video or the episode, however you're listening to the podcast here. I appreciate you all. With that being said, let's dive on into our series recap. Alrighty, now leading us off, we've got the Cardinals and the Yankees, and it's Austin Wells, the young catcher, hitting 2 home runs in the game, his first multi-home run game, as the Yankees open up the series with a 6-3 win, but the Cardinals would not let them get more. They come back a 6-5 win before blowing things up on Sunday, a 14-7 win. The Cardinals take 2 of 3 in New York against the Yankees. Padres take a trip to the Trop to play the Rays, and they open this door up wide on the first game, 13-5. Padres explode offensively, but the Rays watch this and they dealt it right back to them in the Saturday game, 11-4 Tampa to even up the series. As we look to the road match on Sunday, Padres hold out. They get a late run, helping them beat the Rays 4-3 year final, as San Diego takes 2 of 3 from the Rays. Red Sox and Tigers opened up a 3-game series. The first game ended up into extras. To the 10th we went. Red Sox score 3 runs in the inning compared to the Tigers 1, as they ended up beating the Tigers 7-5. But Detroit comes back strong. Their pitching efforts shut down the Red Sox to only 2 runs in the last 2 games. Tigers win it 2-1 and then 4-1 as Detroit takes 2 of 3 from Boston. Blue Jays and the Twins. The Twins shut out the Blue Jays 2-0 on the first game here, and the Jays saw that and doubled it. Not only doubled it, they did a lot more. They come back 15-0. How about that? Minnesota Blue Jays take a big one, but the Twins come back. A big Royce Lewis home run in the third and final game gives the Twins the win as they beat them 4-3, taking 2 of 3 from the Blue Jays. Pirates and Guardians. The Guardians open up the series strong with a 10-8 victory. Pirates, though, come back with a 3-0 win on Saturday, leading to a rubber match that would saw Cal Manzardo hit his first MLB home run, and not only that, he hit his second in the game as well. A 2-homer day from the young kid. I love this kid. 6-1 Guardians your final. They take 2 of 3 from the Pirates. Mets and White Sox. Mets chasing down a wild card team. The White Sox very much out of everything. They are bad. How do you see this series going? Well, I'll tell you. 5-1 Mets, 5-3 Mets, 2-0 Mets. The New York Metropolitans. The Mets, baby, the Mets. They sweep the White Sox in this series, and there's 3 big games to get back under their belts. Royals and Astros, one of my highlight series, and it got ugly for one of the teams here. 6-3 Houston opens up the 4-game set. Vinny Pasquantino gets injured in this game as the Astros tied it on that play. Not very good there. On to the Friday game, it would be a walk-off for Jose Altuve. He hit a long double off the wall out in left field. Houston 3-2 is your final there. They take the second game. On to the Saturday game, it is all Houston in this series, 5-2. The Astros in charge. Royals, what are we doing here as we look to the Sunday game, trying to salvage the series? But it's Yordan Alvarez. He hits 2 home runs in the game. The Astros win at 7-2. And the Houston Astros sweep the 4-game series against the Royals. That has gotta sting, KC. Moving on, A's and Rangers. The Oakland Athletics open up this series against Texas with a 9-2 victory before the Rangers took advantage of that home field advantage. 3-2 Rangers on the Saturday game, walked off by Leody Taveras with a base hit up the middle. Rangers sent home happy, and they loved it so much the first time, they do it the second time. This third game went into extras in the 10th inning. Oakland scored 2 runs. They were looking good, but the Rangers, they get a run back. And then Josh Young off of Mason Miller, a 3-run home run to walk it off. What a moment for the young kid to beat the flamethrower in Miller. Rangers win it 6-4 and take 2 of 3 from the A's. Mariners and Angels. This is not what you want for Seattle. Houston swept the Royals all 4 games. Seattle, you have to do the same, and they don't. They get the first game 9-5, but then the Angels walk it off. Mickey Moniak, the walk-off home run in the second game, 5-4, and then they just hold on to the lead in the third game, 3-2 Angels, as LA takes 2 of 3 from Seattle, and that's going to sting for the Mariners. Braves and Phillies. If the Braves want any hope of the division, they're going to have to do damage in this series. And, well, they had a 4-0 lead, but the Phillies score 5 unanswered, including a go-ahead home run from Nick Castellanos. The Phillies come back in the first game, win it 5-4. Then the Braves would do some damage, and a little bit of a rematch from last year's NLDS. It's Orlando Arcia with the stare down on Harper. He has a 2-home run night for him. Braves win it 7-2 and even up the series. Phillies come back and shut the Braves out in the third game, a 3-0 Phillies win. And then in the last game, who else? Nicholas Castellanos. He hit the go-ahead home run in the first game, and he walks it off in the fourth and final game. Nick Castellanos, the base hit, wins it for the Phillies. Walk-off winner, 3-2, your final. And the Phillies kind of cement themselves in the NL East, taking 3 of 4 from the next closest team in the Atlanta Braves. The Cubs and the Nationals now, and the Cubs are hot and they're scoring runs. They beat the Nats 7-6 on the Friday, 5-3 on Saturday, and then blow it open on Sunday, 14-1. Your final. The Cubs have won 6 straight and they're looking good. Brewers and Reds now. This was a great series if you were a Brewers fan. The first game went into 10. Brewers scored a run and held the Reds. They won it 5-4. Then the second game, this is part of a double-header that had Rhett Lauder debut. The Brewers were up 4-0 entering the 9th inning. And let me tell you, if you ever heard the expression beating a horse while it's down, this was the definition of that. The Brewers up 4, they scored 10 runs in the 9th, just absolutely blow it open, make it a bloodbath. 14-0 Brewers, your final there, part of the doubleheader on Friday. They then continued with another 5-4 victory on Saturday, leading up to what looked like a 4-game sweep, but the Reds would hold off. They get a walk-off in the 11th inning in this one. Santiago Espinal, a little dribbler, hits off the pitcher. No Brewer can make the play. The Reds win it 4-3 and salvage the series and avoid the 4-game sweep to the Brewers, who take 3 of the 4 from the Reds. They're looking good for the Central. Dodgers and D-backs. This one's got one more game to go. This was a hell of a series and a hell of a couple of games. 10-9 Dodgers is how things got started. Yep, a 1-run game there. Then 8-6 Dodgers. The Dodgers edging out those close games there before the D-backs open it up on Sunday. A 14-3 win, Arizona. But yeah, game 4 tonight. Will Arizona be able to tie this series up, or will Dodgers take 3 of 4? Oilers and Rockies now. The O's in Colorado using the elevation. A 5-3 victory for them on Friday. Colorado bounces back with a 7-5 victory against Baltimore, but the O's handle business. They take 2 of 3 from the Rockies, win it 6-1 your final. And lastly here we have the Marlins and the Giants. The Giants looking to have any last lingering hope into the postseason, into the playoff chase this month. They win the first game against the Marlins 3-1, but then drop the other two 4-3 and 7-5 your finals. The Marlins take 2 of 3 from the Giants. And it's not looking good for San Fran as that wraps up our series recap. All right, now on to the game of the weekend, and we had a lot of great games to go over. To choose from, essentially, the Dodgers and D-backs, those 3 games provide us a lot of fun entertainment. I would choose one of them, specifically the second game, but I'm going to be doing a little talk about the whole series as a whole. So we're going to wait on that. And for the game of the weekend, I'm going to take you to Philadelphia, Braves and Phillies, because these 4 games were really good as well. And especially the opener, Orlando Arcia, he doubles in the second to get the Braves on top. You know, Phillies fans don't like that. And then this is where Matt Olson comes to play. He's been pretty quiet all season round, but in the top of the third, he hits a 2-run home run, his 24th of the season, to put the Braves up 3-0. And then at the top of the 6th, he does it again, his 25th of the year, 4-0, Braves up in the 6th. It's all Atlanta in this game. Bottom of the 6th, though, Brandon Marsh, a 3-run home run off of Charlie Morton. Home run number 14 for Marsh. That puts the Phillies back within 1. And then on to the bottom of the 7th, we went to where Nicholas Castellanos hits his 19th home run on the year. A 2-run shot puts Philly up 5-4, and it would remain that way. The Phillies come back in the last 3-4 innings of this one, from 4-0 to 5-4. The Phillies win this one, and that is your game of the weekend. All right, now for the baseball news that we've got, I'm taking you first for the tiebreakers. I want to start talking about some of these things, start to get my mind wrapped around, potential ties that we might have come the end of the season. You know, if we look at that wild card right now as a whole, or even just division leaders, the Yankees are 1 up on the Guardians, half a game up on the O's. You know, Twins and Royals are essentially tied right now. So, Padres and Diamondbacks have been tied for how long? Dodgers, Phillies, and Brewers are all separated by 1 game each. So they're all very close in terms of some of the playoff spots. I feel like in terms of the teams, we're pretty wrapped up on what we're going to get. But, you know, a whole month can change that, but I did want to look at some of those tiebreakers quickly. So starting it off, I wanted to look at the AL East division, the O's and the Yankees. Currently, the Yankees have a half a game lead on Baltimore. They have 1 extra game to play. Baltimore lost that game. That's why it's the half game difference. If we take a look at the season series, O's lead the Yankees 6-4, and they have 3 games to play, meaning for Baltimore to clinch the tiebreaker, they just need to win 1 of those 3 games. Those games will be held on September 24th, 25th, and 26th. So for the Yankees, who are currently in the driver's seat by half a game, if they want to have the best odds, they need to sweep the O's. Of course, by sweeping the O's, they're also putting themselves in a great position to take a huge lead over them. But yeah, even if the Yankees essentially win 2 of 3 in that series, Baltimore would still hold the tiebreaker, and they'd be almost pretty much tied, of course, depending on how the rest of the month plays out. But yeah, the O's are in the driver's seat right now, just needing to win 1 of those 3. The AL Central, in terms of the division, it's really messy. The Royals have the tiebreaker over the Guardians. The Guardians have the tiebreaker over the Twins, and of course the Twins have it over the Royals. Because who doesn't love it when it's a triangle like that? I hate it in terms of wrapping my head around things because it can get so confusing. So if the Royals and the Guardians were tied for first, the Royals would win the division. If the Guardians and Twins were tied for first, it's the Guardians who win the division. And if by some means the Guardians blow up in September and both the Twins and Royals surpass them and then are still tied for the division, the Twins get it over the Royals. So a lot of moving parts in terms of the AL Central. Of course, right now the Guardians, thanks to Houston sweeping the Royals and the Blue Jays getting one against the Twins, they hold a 3.5 lead over both those teams. But hey, the Royals and Guardians are once again playing a series. So Kansas City beat up on the Guardians, got tied with the division, got within one game of it, and then lost 4 straight to the Astros. And now they have a chance to kind of redo it and take a bunch of games against the Guardians again. But who knows? Maybe second time won't be the charm there. The AL West has gotten a little bit more out of the way. Of course, Houston, the 4-game sweep over the Royals, as we just mentioned. They now have a 6-game lead over the Seattle Mariners. Seattle is also 5.5 back of the wild card. So right now, it is the wild card that makes it the slightly easier path, but essentially it's the same regardless. Of course, Boston's still in the way. They're 4.5 back of the wild card. But in terms of the division, if Seattle goes on a crazy streak here, if they're able to tie the Astros, they do have the tiebreaker over Houston. It's the only tiebreaker they have in terms of everything. I'm pretty sure against the Yankees, O's, Red Sox, Twins, Royals, Guardians, all the other teams that are in playoff contention, Seattle does not have tiebreaker. Only Houston, which, I mean, if you're going to only get one tiebreaker over someone, you want it to be Houston in this situation here. But if they tie for the 3rd wildcard seed, they're losing it. It's a tough one to be in for Seattle. But like I said, if you're Seattle, you've had the division for so many months of the season. You lost it in June, July. And that's what you want. You want the division. So start chasing Houston because those are the games that are going to matter, especially towards the end of the season here. You guys got to get hot. We've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. It's down to Seattle. Taking a look at the NL West here. So the Padres and the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, 3 teams essentially there. Padres have it over the Dodgers, and the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks right now are 6-6. They have one more game left to play, and of course that game happens to be today. The winner of today's game, between the Dodgers and D-backs, will get the tiebreaker over them. So the Padres have it over the Dodgers. If the Diamondbacks win today, they'll also have it over the Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers have a 5-game lead over both these teams, but losing the tiebreakers to both would make it very interesting. Taking a look now between the Padres and Diamondbacks, they are 5-5 in their season series. They have 3 games to play, and guess what? It's the last 3 games of the season. So for the last couple of weeks now, Padres and Diamondbacks have been kind of tied here, and the way the bracket's shaping up, the two of them will most likely play in the postseason and play each other in the wild card series. And they end the season together. September 27th, 28th, and 29th are those last 3 games. Whoever wins 2 of 3 or sweeps will have the tiebreaker, and that could also determine home field advantage for a 4th straight game that they could be playing for each other, or 4th and 5th, essentially, the wild card series. So, D-backs and Padres, man, those 2 teams are going to have a fun month here, a possible fun ending here if they can stay close to each other throughout the month of September. Of course, 4 weeks to go before we get to that. And the last tiebreaker, just to throw out here and mention quickly, the Mets won 3 straight. They swept the White Sox. Braves lost 3 of 4 to the Phillies. They're separated by 1 game right now. Mets are 1 game back of the wild card. Taking a look at their series, the Braves have won 5, the Mets have won 5. They have 3 to play. Those games will be on September 24th, 25th, and 26th, same as the O's and Yankees. And whoever wins 2 of 3 will have the tiebreaker. And right now, with the Mets only back 1, the door is wide open for that 3rd wild card seed right now, the way the Braves have been playing. Yeah, That's kind of all I have right now for the tiebreakers. We'll see how some of those games play out. Of course, most of the important games to watch here come at the end of the season, so I'll have to take a look into that. We'll see what's been done between now and then determine how important those last couple of games will be for which teams. All right, now let's talk about this Dodgers D-back series, or at least 3 of the 4 games. Of course, the 4th game determines the tiebreaker. That one happens today. But I want to talk about these 3 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because they have just been such entertaining games. And it's been fun, and I've liked it for 2 reasons. One, it's had close victories for the Dodgers, but the Diamondbacks aren't going out without a fight. Each game, they're headstrong, fighting them every single moment. The first game of the series, Dodgers won it 10-9. Freddie Freeman homers in the first inning, 2-0. You're already thinking, damn, that's a tough 2-0. It's not anything crazy, but a first inning runs, those are hard to get back. Diamondbacks immediately in the bottom of the first score those 2 runs right back. Dodgers then, they score 3 in the second. Guess what? Arizona, Corbin Carroll, he hits his 18th home run. He is hotter than ever right now. Brings it right back. And then next inning, the game is tied. They score 2 more runs in the bottom of the third. So already, both times the Diamondbacks have been down, 2 runs, 3 runs, and within 2-3 innings, they've tied it right back. It's 5-5 after 3 innings. Right then and there, they're back and forth. Will Smith then hits a 3-run home run to make it a 4-run lead at a later on point in the top of the 7th. And then Ohtani, he hits his 43rd home run of the season, 43-43 for him. Now it's a 5-run lead, and you're thinking, well, the game's over. There's a tough one to have. But then Diamondbacks in the bottom of the 9th, Jake McCarthy, he singles in a run. Then Eugenio Suarez, or he singles in 2 runs, sorry. Then Suarez hits a 2-run home run, his 21st of the season. It's 10-9. And within a flash, from down 5, it's a 1-run game. And it's hold on here. The game is not over. Arizona made sure that everyone knew as long as there was baseball to be having, there was a chance that they were going to win this game. It ends up with Corbin Carroll popping out and then Luis Guillermo flying out. The Dodgers hold on, but that's the fight that I liked in Arizona in that first game. In the second game was even better, in my opinion, and this would have been, all odds considering, the game of the weekend. This was the game of the weekend to watch, because in the top of the first, the Dodgers have this big-headed trio of Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. And what do? Hits back-to-back-to-back home runs. Ohtani 44, Mookie Betts his 14th, and then Freddie Freeman his 19th. That's how the Dodgers love to start. I think we've had this twice or 3 times now. Back-to-back home runs from those top 3. 3-0 Dodgers. You're feeling really good about yourselves. Immediately in the bottom of the first, Corbin Carroll, inside the park home run. And that just sparks the offense, because then Lourdes Gurriel, he delivers a 2-run double. Now we're tied. Eugenio Suarez a sac fly, and after the top 3 Dodger players go back to back to back, we end the first with Arizona up a run. That is the fight that Arizona has shown in these games. And going back even to the NLDS last year, those games were super entertaining. Arizona was hot. The Dodgers weren't. Freeman and Betts were not at the state they were supposed to be in. In this game now, top of the second, we're still at the beginning of the game. Dodgers tie it and then take the lead. Ohtani a sac fly, Freeman a single. And now the Diamondbacks are once again down. Bottom of the third, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. homers to tie it. It just seemed like every time the Diamondbacks were losing, they found a way to tie the game. Of course, tying the game only meant so much, because then, of course, Dodgers end up pulling ahead. They end up winning it. Top 9, it was a 6-6 game. Bases loaded with 2 outs. They couldn't figure out Tommy Edman. He gets a 2-run single. And those 2 runs were the difference. The Dodgers win it 8-6. But those close games, these fun games, have put this series and put these 2 teams in my mind on a big watch. And not to mention the Padres. The Padres, of course, were extremely hot for the month of August. They've kind of cooled down the last couple of days here, but they're still these 3 teams. I love this triple rivalry we have, because obviously I think of Dodgers and Padres when I think of the rivalry, but the Dodgers and D-backs are just as good. And when it comes down to it, the D-backs and Padres, those 3 games are going to be the most entertaining games for me. I cannot wait to watch those games when they come around. Like, as long as things stay close, one of these teams doesn't just lose 8 straight. Like, we're talking about a really fun, like, end to the season that has kind of been building up since the second half of the season started, since the All-Star game. Like, we've had this, and I'll be honest, in this series, the Dodgers have won 2 of 3. They've been the better team in terms of, winning out those ball games, coming out close ones. If you're Arizona, you have nothing but to hold your head high here, because you are pushing the Dodgers to the limits. A 1-run game, a 2-run game, and then you guys get the game that blows it open 14-3. You guys go crazy in the bottom of the second, score 8 runs. That kind of just cements it. Grichuk homers, Suarez homers in this game. The Dodgers start to come back a little bit. They score 3 runs straight, and then it's like, oh, okay, let's score 5 more just to be safe. And then it's Corbin Carroll who's been hot, and the guys, it was a great game. Brandon fought 10 strikeouts on the Dodgers. It's going to be a really fun end to the season right now, and I'm really excited for today's matchup because, like I said, it's for a tiebreaker. There is more at stake. If Arizona wins this game, they're 4 games back of the Dodgers with the tiebreaker, with a month of baseball to go. Anything can happen. It is really just exciting baseball right now to be having, and this is why I love baseball so much. This is why I love September baseball so much. These postseason chases are going to be fun. Meanwhile, the Dodgers and D-backs are going to finish up their series now. Dodgers then get an LA series, while the D-backs get the Giants. And let's be honest, the Angels, aren't no top team. The Giants haven't been playing one. And meanwhile, the Padres are going to be in Detroit taking on the Tigers. Or, no, Tigers, I think, in San Diego. But the point of the matter is, right now, these 3 teams are essentially, as long as, they have their own series, win those games, and, it's going to get close. You just can't have a situation where the Dodgers are sweeping a team, and if you're Arizona or San Diego, you're getting swept. That just can't happen anymore. We're too close for this to be happening right now. So it's definitely going to be something to keep an eye out for, or start to watch as things go away. Dodgers and D-backs, 4:10 Eastern Standard Time. It'll be Jack Flaherty versus Eduardo Rodriguez. That's a game that you don't want to miss if you love baseball. Okie dokie, now let's talk Cubs, because they're hot right now, and when you're hot, you get talked about and you get looked at a little bit more differently because, hey, we're in September, things are close, but you guys are in it now. The Chicago Cubs, in the last 10 games, they're 9-1. In those 10 games, they have scored 99 runs. The offense is on another level right now, and if you look at the standings, the Brewers have kind of made themselves known and made themselves a name in the NL Central. They've been hot as ever. They're 7-3, and they're 9 games up on the Cubs still. But the Cubs have closed the gap from last week, from 10 days ago. The Cubs were about 6 games out of the wild card. They've made it now 3. They've closed it within 3. They're 2 games back of the Mets, 3 games back of the Braves. They are right kind of in the middle of things. They've passed the Giants, they've passed the Cardinals. They are right there chasing down a wild card spot here. Now, the Cubs are hot. There's no denying it. But I do want to just mention that the Cubs have been playing in easier baseball teams as of late. You take a look at the last couple of series here. They sweep the Nationals, take 3 against them. They sweep the Pirates, take 3 against them. They win 2 of 3 against the Marlins and win 2 of 3 against the Tigers, and then 2 of 3 against the Blue Jays. That was Players Weekend. That's what the Cubs have been doing recently. And for anyone out there, Blue Jays, losing team. Tigers, losing team. Marlins, losing team. Pirates, losing team. Nationals, losing team. All these teams have records below 500. Before that Blue Jay series, the series that they had last was the Guardians, a winning team. and they got swept by Cleveland. This was back in August, the 12th to the 14th, middle of August. The end of August has been very good to the Cubs, but like I said, it's been against very bad teams, or at least teams that you should be beating, especially at this point in the season. Now they start a 3-game series against the Pirates, who they just swept last week, and they swept them in a big way. They scored 18 runs in the first game, 9 runs in the second game, and then 14 runs in the third game. Now they're home against the Pirates. So if you're the Cubs, you're feeling pretty good that you can continue your 6-game winning streak, sweep the Pirates once more, make it a 9-game winning streak. That's all fine and dandy, but we're doing it against teams that are below 500. What I want to see is, come this point next week, how we'll be talking about the Cubs. Come this point in 10 days, how will we be talking about the Cubs? Because after this Pirate series, they have 3 games against the Yankees and then 3 games against the Dodgers. 6 games against 2 of the top teams in baseball. If the Cubs can walk out of those 6 games with a 4-2 record, a 3-3 record even, now it's different, because now you've done it against top teams. If you win one of those 6 games, if you guys get swept in both of those series, you can't be talking about being a hot contending team. The Cubs are lucky because of what they have in the month of September here. After those series against the Yankees and Dodgers, they got a series against Colorado, a series against Oakland, a 4-game series against the Nationals, before they have to face a good team in the Phillies, before finishing their series, the season, against the Reds. They only have 3 against the Yankees, 3 against the Dodgers, and 3 against the Phillies. 9 games left with teams above 500. The rest are below 500. So the Cubs have an easier chance to sneak their way in here. So far this season, when they face teams above 500 records, they're 39-42, 3 games back. So they have 9 games left. You've got to win, 4 of those, really, 5 really, to keep it close, to keep it interesting. I think the Cubs, with the schedule they have for the rest of September, they can make a case for a postseason spot. They can really push themselves in it. I don't see them getting much further, though, after that, if they can't win against the big teams here. If we go back even further from Cleveland, they had a series against the Twins where they took 2 of 3. Sure, that's good. They took 3 of 4 from the Cardinals. Hey, Cardinals are a team there. They lost 2 of 3 against the Reds. They took 2 of 3 from the Royals. They lost 2 of 3 from the Brewers, lost 2 of 3 from the Diamondbacks. It's very tricky. The Cubs seem to be in an uphill transaction right now. I just want to see how they do against the Yankees and Dodgers here. Let's give them a week, give them 2 weeks. We'll see where the Cubs end up over the next 10 days here. And if they're still in it, then we'll keep an eye on them. Cubs are hot. Keep an eye. All right, now, a couple things to mention here. The White Sox are setting themselves up for some more history, if you will, and not the types you want to be. The White Sox are on another 10-game losing streak. What else is new there? I'll tell you what's new. 107 losses, the most in their franchise's history. Not exactly where you want to be if you're a White Sox fan. A tough year for you guys. As mentioned, it's a 10-game losing streak that they're currently on. It's the 3rd time this season they've had a 10-game losing streak. It's just been a season to forget. And 107 losses, most in their franchise. And by the way, we are in September. We have just started the final month. That number already being their franchise's worst number is not good. It's been a tough year, and it's only gonna get tougher as this final year, final month comes and goes. White Sox just trying to stay somewhat of afloat, at least until the end of the season, and then, we'll see what happens next year, but not the year to be a White Sox fan, I'll tell you that. Staying in the division, though, really quickly here, the Royals, they've made some moves here, some moves that I said that they should do, And they kind of do. I said in the last episode, Tommy Pham was placed on the waivers by the Cardinals, and I said the Royals should definitely put a claim on him and try to get him. Not only did put the claim on them, they did get them. The Royals are claiming Tommy Pham from the Cardinals, but not only that, but they've also made a trade with the Atlanta Braves to acquire Yuli Gurriel. And if I'm being 100% honest, I thought this guy was done. I did not know he was playing. I looked him up, and guess what? He wasn't playing. He signed with the Braves this season, if you forgot that. But he's been in AAA. He's not been in the Major League team at all this year. The Royals make a trade for him. He heads over and already is played in a Major League game. In his first game with the Royals, I believe it was yesterday, he went 1 for 3 and drove in a run. He also struck out. So hey, you know what? That's pretty good. You do that every day, and I don't think the Royals will be upset at you for putting up those numbers at the ripe age of 40. Of course, Lourdes Gurriel's brother, Yuli, much older, and coming towards the end, he's going to hopefully have some magic with the Royals here and help them out in any shape and form that he can. Definitely something to keep your eyes out for. The Royals making a couple of additions to help their team here late. All right, now with all that baseball news being out of the way, let's talk about the hot and colds for the week here. For the week, 7 days. Lawrence Butler from your A's, he is hot. 14 for 28, 3 doubles, 6 home runs, 10 RBIs, 8 runs, a 1.767 OPS. Yordan Alvarez with the Astros, 11 for 23, 5 home runs, 6 RBIs, 6 runs, a 1.650 OPS for him. Paul Goldschmidt has the most hits this week, 14 for 23, 5 doubles, a home run, 5 RBIs, 1 run scored, and a 1.597 OPS. Corbin Carroll, he has taken off finally. We've been looking for this guy to get hot all year round. He's finally doing it, and of course, at the right time. 9 for 23, a double, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, 8 runs, a 1.510 OPS for him. And lastly, joining in Lawrence Butler is one of his teammates, Brent Rooker. 10 for 25, a double, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 6 runs, 4 walks, a 1.283 OPS for him. Flipping it now to the cold side, Andrew Vaughn, of course, almost had that walk-off home run. Of course, got robbed by Travis Jankowski. He was 0 for 22 this week. With 5 strikeouts. Daz Cameron was way worse, 3 for 27 with 12 strikeouts for him. Whit Merrifield, 1 for 27 with 7 Ks. Kyle Schwarber, 2 for 23 with 9 strikeouts. And then Grant McRae, 1 for 17 with 10 Ks. Not the ideal week for those guys there. As we now take a look at the injury updates for the weekend here. Couple things to note. Clayton Kershaw, he had to get removed from one of his starts against the Diamondbacks, only threw about 27 pitches or so, and only 1 inning of work. And he ended up having a bone spur in his toe. He's on the IL for now. Manuel Margot has a strained groin, and he lands himself on the IL for the Twins. And then Nick Madrigal is out for the season with the Cubs. He's got a fractured finger, kind of a big blow for them as they're just trying to get hot here. We mentioned the Cubs, but Nick Madrigal will no longer be part of the Cubs season as he has that fractured finger. For the outstanding performances now, we've got ourselves quite the list of guys here, so bear with me here because things are going to get long. Tanner Houck for Boston, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. DL Hall with the Brewers, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 5 Ks. Framber Valdez with the Astros, 7 innings pitched, no hits, took a no-hitter through 7, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 Ks. Paulo Lopez, 7 2/3 innings pitched for him, 6 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Blake Snell had a pitcher's duel, 7 innings pitched, 4 hit, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 8 Ks. On the other end of that duel, Adam Aller from the Marlins, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. Matthew Boyd, haven't heard that name since like 2018. He had 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 8 Ks, trying to rejuvenate his career with the Guardians. Tarek Skubal, the Cy Young favorite in my opinion, and he has another great start. 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 8 Ks. Yusei Kikuchi has been great with the Astros since coming on over. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 12 strikeouts for Kikuchi. Zach Wheeler, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. Jose Barrios, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 5 Ks. Alex Cobb, another guy with Cleveland trying to rejuvenate his career, took a perfect game into the 6th inning. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, no walk, and 6 Ks. 6th inning got away from him a bit. Bailey Ober, 6 innings pitched, a hit, an earned run, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Sean Manaea, he has had a sneaky great season with the Mets. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. And then lastly, Zach Eflin, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 9 strikeouts for your outstanding performances from the weekend. All right, now last bit of news, the standings check to look at here. AL East, we've talked about most of these throughout the tiebreakers and everything else anyways in this episode, but we'll just do it here once more. Yankees half a lead over Baltimore. Baltimore needs to win one of their games for the tiebreaker. AL Central is a bit crazier. Of course, the Royals have lost 5 straight. They have gone from within a game of Cleveland to now 3.5 back. The Guardians still in first at 78 and 59. They're 1 game back of both the Yankees and O's, or 1 game back of the Yankees, half a game back of the O's. And Twins and Royals tied 74 and 62, and then 75 and 63. Royals have played 2 extra games, won 1 and lost 1, so they are tied right now. AL West, Houston 6 games up on the Mariners still, and they're looking good. They've won 5 straight and are doing really nicely. NL East, the Phillies took 3 or 4 against the Braves. They now have a 7-game lead over the Braves, and that NL East division is looking more and more like theirs each and every single day. NL Central, the Brewers are still atop. They're 1 game back of the Phillies, 2 games back of the Dodgers. They're trying to get into the top 2 teams there so they don't have to play in the wild card series. That's kind of something to note, eh? The Dodgers and Brewers and Phillies, one of those 3 teams right now is going to play in the wild card series, and they're all separated by 2 games. Brewers 9 games up on the Cubs, though, 7-3 in their last 10. They're doing very well for themselves. And of course, in the NL West, the Dodgers 82 and 55, 5 games up on the Diamondbacks and Padres. If either of these teams want to make a late run for the division, it's gonna start now, and it's gonna start with the Diamondbacks beating the Dodgers today. And the wild card, Baltimore 4 games up on the Twins and Royals, who are both tied right now, essentially for the 2nd and 3rd seed. One right now will end up facing Baltimore, the other Houston. And if you look further out, the Boston Red Sox are 4.5 back of the division. Tigers 5 games back of the wild card. I said division for the Red Sox. Wild card. Tigers 5 games back. They're 70 and 68. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Are they trying to make a late lunge into the postseason? And then it's Seattle. So the Tigers right now have a better record than Seattle. We're talking about Seattle being, oh man, Seattle is a team that drives me crazy. On the NL side of things, Diamondbacks 3 games up on the line. Padres 3 games up on the line. One of these 2 teams is hosting each other probably. Braves at the line. They've lost 2 straight. Lost 3 or 4 from the Phillies. The Mets are 1 game back of them. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Cubs 3 games back of them. 71 and 66, 9-1 in the last 10. 6-game winning streak for them. And then the Cardinals 5 games out. If they have anything left in them, they gotta start going now as well. As we now will take a look at the upcoming series for the week here. Some good games coming up at this week. I don't know what I'm saying right now. The upcoming series, of course, Dodgers and D-backs will finish off their 4-game series. They have a game today. Phillies in Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. White Sox at O's. Twins at Rays. Guardians at Royals again, Yankees at Rangers, Dodgers at Angels, Mariners at A's, Red Sox at Mets, Rockies at Braves, Nationals at Marlins, Astros at Reds, Cardinals at Brewers, Pirates at Cubs, D-backs at Giants, and we round things off with the Tigers and the Padres. If you want 3 series to keep your eyes out for, of course, the Guardians and Royals is huge. Can the Royals do what they did last week and again take a lot of these games and close that gap? Or will the Guardians be able to push away from the Royals and edge themselves further for the AL Central lead? Red Sox and Mets, 2 teams, the top 2 teams of the wild card. Red Sox 4th in the wild card in the AL, Mets 4th in the wild card in the NL. If one of these teams wants to make a push, they need every win they can get. Mets, of course, 1 game back of the Braves. Red Sox 4.5 back of the Royals, but of course they're facing the Guardians. Makes that series even more exciting to watch. And then lastly, Cardinals and Brewers. The Brewers are going to keep winning. They're going to easily be the first team to clinch a spot into the postseason. Definitely right now it seems like the first team to clinch their division. So the Brewers are the hot team to watch right now. Keep an eye on them. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to end it for us here today. A bit of a longer one, and of course, with the Player of the Month happening on Friday, it's going to be even longer there. So a couple of long episodes here. September baseball is hot. This is the month to be in. September is just so much fun. You know, you got school starting. You got football season, Ravens, Chiefs. That happens Thursday. You know, what's going on, like man, this month is full of stuff to do, so you're staying busy, but if you got some time, go and enjoy a couple more games. And if you're a team fan base for, let's say, Oakland, so let's say Cincinnati, some of those teams that are already out of it, this is your last chance to watch some baseball before April and March for your team. So keep that in mind. Maybe go out, check out a couple more games of the season here, because it's rounding up, and then we have the sad months of the year where there is no baseball to watch. But of course, the exciting months of the postseason and the playoff chase are right here, right now. I'm going to stop yapping so I can go on with my day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, everybody, so much for listening, and I will see you on Friday.